Previously on Natural Dreams Revelation. I know Dylan doesn't know Wilma, so why did you help him? Unless you have another plan up your sleeve. And I suddenly realize, you do, don't you? What happened to us being fated together after all that I used to think that, but now I'm not too sure. Don't get too excited. They're still doing investigation on why, when they should be given a medal upon wiping them out. How is Ethan faring? Ethan is doing fine. In fact, he's only moments away from waking up. Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in employee room, Jennifer's finished sliding her card in the lecture panel, thus clocking her in, just as Kristen came and went to where Jennifer is, and as she turned and saw her just as she arrived. My marriage is over. It seems Eddie and I aren't meant to be. Meanwhile, at the Preston Ridge Manor in the living room, Paul's pouring himself a cup of brandy. Just as Stephanie came in and head to where Paul is. I really don't get to why you let them go last night, and as Paul saw when she arrived. All I care about right now is finding my parents' killer, and I'm hoping Wilma isn't one of them, because if so, things are about to get nasty. Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Wilma's room, Wilma's lying in bed asleep. Till she woke up and realized she's not where she'd be and sat up, easy there. And as Wilma turned and saw Dylan, who's by her bedside. Where am I? You're in hospital. Not to worry. Everything will become clear soon. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment in Ethan's apartment in the bedroom, Ethan is lying unresponsive in bed while Jan and Nicole are looking at him. Will he remember when he wakes up? Short answer, no. Meaning, you and Dylan are safe. Look, and as Jan looked at Nicole, he can't get us for that maneuver. So it seems. And as Ethan begins awakening, observe. And as Nicole look at Ethan, who's awakening. Ethan? And as Ethan saw who's there. What happened? And as he slowly begins sitting up, more importantly, where am I? Do you know to who you are? Yeah, my name is Ethan. I don't know what's okay. No need to bite her head off, Jan. It's fine. Perfectly normal, Ethan. You just woken up from a very long coma. Just how long was I out? Well, don't keep me in suspense. Oh, come on, just tell me already. You've been in a coma since 2007, and now we're in 2010, so, math correctly, it's been about 3 years. Do you know what happened to you that led you to here today? Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in the hallway, Jennifer's heading to the front area, unaware that her sister is trailing not too far. Jennifer, wait! Soon, Kristen got in front of Jennifer and went and blocked her. Your marriage is over? You heard me correctly. Yeah, I did. And there's gotta be a reason. There is. He thinks he has feelings for Julian, even though it's not true. Look, I didn't mean to bring this up and all, but you and Julian were missing during the musical send-off back in June. So, I may not be the only person who's noticed, but the question of the matter is, do you love him or not? Meanwhile, at the Preston Ridge Manor in the living room, Stephanie and Paul are talking. Clearly, Wilma doesn't have a strong motive other than Rita, or maybe it's Miller. Speaking of which, Rita and I are at a good place now. And as Paul has a flashback of him and Rita talking in Adam's office. Perhaps I've gotten on the wrong foot, making accusations on your husband when he may not be responsible for the matter. Wow, that must really take some guts for you to come up with that one. I'm trying, Rita. I haven't exactly been able to sleep knowing my parents' killers is out there roaming about. So, what do you want me to do? Nothing, but I do want to do something for you. And as the flashback ends with Chad coming in, you two aren't gonna believe what Hannah just did. And as Stephanie and Paul saw him just as he arrived. Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Wilma's room, Wilma and Dylan are talking while Wilma is lying in bed. You know, the last thing I remember is being locked up in that same abandoned prison near Joshua Tree National Park like it was the beginning of the year. So, how I found you at your old school's secret room. I guess I should thank you for coming to my rescue and all, even though you used to be my older sister. Let's just focus on you and your baby. And as Lauren came in, well, it is so good that you're back in this realm. And as Wilma and Dylan saw her just as Lauren closed the door. Yeah, I am. And as Lauren turned and come to where they are, we were worried about you. You might not do a follow-up exam, even though you already been one with, it's fine. I'm gonna go ring your parents. And as Dylan got up and went and left the room. Meanwhile, in Julian's room, Julian still lying unconscious in bed. Just as Beverly came in from the side door, and as she closed the door and head to where he is. And a why. Let's try this again. And with no interference, I'm quite certain this will be accomplished. And as Beverly pulled out the millennium rod, which begins to glow, and as she aimed it at Julian. Julian, you are now in my control. Well, the trans part is. And it was going well, till Wilma, your wife, broke through it. But now, thanks to the revelation you learned prior to the new school sent off months ago, that trance will only be broken by your real true love, which unfortunately won't be Wilma this time. So, by the time you awaken, you'll have the same powers to those who dare stand in your way. Meanwhile, at the Seabrook Motel in Janet and JJ's room, JJ is finished making love to Janet. And as he pull away and lay beside her, and as they both bask after their lovemaking. Wow. Were we making love all night? Yeah, seems we did all the way. I really needed that. And I think you did too. We were both good. You know, and as Janet looked at JJ, prior to you and Charlie's arrival at the school, I was gonna swear off men altogether for a while. Oh, and as JJ looked at Janet, what made you change your mind? And as Janet leaned and began kissing JJ and pulled back. It seems you've given me some hope. Perhaps I can persuade you some more. No, let me show you how much you mean to me. And as they continue kissing each other, Rosanna and Janet getting on top of JJ, and as she began to make sweet love towards JJ. Meanwhile, at the Sherwood Ridge Manor in the dining room, Sasha and Michael are sitting at the table enjoying their brekkie. That was amazing. It seems all your time at the diner has really made you into a good chef, even though you work as a server. Well, I had a few pointers or two, so I see. Look, I'm sorry I had to cancel our dinner plans at the last second, though. How's your brother? He felt like he was being used, and to tell you the truth, he might have been right with the matter. Believe me, I know what that's like. Anyways, I've decided to become a teacher. Really? Yeah. Although I don't know what department where I'm gonna be as of yet, not to worry. You'll figure it out in the end. I will. Anyways, and as Michael got up, why don't you join me for part 2? And as Sasha also got up, lead the way. And as Sasha and Michael went and left the dining room. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment and Ethan's apartment in the bedroom, Nicole, Jan, and Ethan are talking. No, should I remember anything? All I know is I was getting ready to start the new year and that's it. Oh, and you. Yeah? You have something on her? You seem on edge after our last tense conversation about— Look, I regret whatever I've done back then, and I want to make amends. Okay, if you really mean what you say, why don't you let me buy you dinner? I may not remember much, but I do know I'm a gram. So what do you say? The thing is, Ethan, can you excuse us for a minute? Sure. And as Nicole led Jan outside the bedroom and closed the door and led her to the living room. And they arrived with Jan pulling her off. What do you think you're playing at? I should really be asking you the same thing. Please tell me you weren't gonna say no and that you're married to Sheldon Graham. Because if you were, you're not gonna be with him when I'm done with you. Meanwhile, at the Bayside Diner in Sheldon and Jan's office, Kristen and Jennifer both came in, with Jennifer closing the door. And as they both went and sat at a table and faced each other. Okay, it's just you and me now. Do you love— Yeah, Julian was the true first love of my life. I just can't switch off my feelings whenever, so that explains the reason to your bullshit and all. Wrong. I loved Will with everything I had. Well, to you in turn, I know. Speaking of which, why are you and Will still here? You would think the pair of you will be out on your lovely honeymoon after— Yeah, we would now, but we have obligations to ensure Rachel and Aaron that they get their daughter back. And speaking of which, I have to go. Don't worry, I'll be fine. And as Kristen got up and went and left the office. Meanwhile, at the Preston Ridge Manor in the living room, Stephanie, Paul, and Chad are talking. Wow, when is that family gonna give it up already? I mean, the last time her, Ashley, and Isabella came here threatening to kill— Yeah, I know. And I'm gonna make damn certain they don't get a third chance. Why don't the pair of you send them a message? Not yet. I want them to think they're on top. Exactly. And as Michelle and David came in, and Stephanie, Paul, and Chad saw them, David and I have something we need to tell you. Of course you do. I surely hope it's not I quit, because your task is about to begin. Look, we had enough of doing this. All of our kids have gone suspicious, and we don't know if we can— Well, back up, because you really don't have much of a choice. Actually, we do. We're walking away now, and there's not a damn thing you lot can do to stop us. Go ahead. And as Michelle and David turned and went and walked out of the living room towards the front area and arrived at the door. You see there? It was simple. Of course. And as David opened the door and saw Leo and Tamara standing before them, going somewhere, good idea. Why don't we all go for a little ride? Meanwhile, at the Los Angeles International Hospital in Wilma's room, Wilma's lying in bed. Till Hannah and Ryan came in to where she is, and she saw her parents. You had us very sick, and as Hannah and Ryan arrived, Mom, Dad, I'm doing good. Thanks to Dylan. Yeah, he phoned us. Is my sister Emily here? I was with her at the abandoned prison near Joshua Tree. You mean the same place you were at the beginning of the year? Yeah. I'm gonna go call my brother Jack and fill him in. And as Ryan turned and went and left the room. And as Hannah turned and faced her daughter. How are you? I really should be asking you, seeing that you tried to kill Linda for the second time. Yeah, I saw the news. Well, I had to admit, not one of my proudest moments, but I don't regret what I did, considering what they did to our families. And as Dylan came back in with 3 cups of coffee in a tray, and as he went and gave Hannah and Wilma one, which they got. I've already given your husband one. Thank you. I guess I owe it to you for saving my daughter's life and all. I was there at the right time. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Ryan just got off his iPhone, and as he began to sip on his coffee that he got from Dylan, just as Beverly came to where Ryan is. Ryan, you got a second? And as Ryan turned and saw her just as she arrived. Sure. What's going on? I have an idea that I would like to run by you. Meanwhile, in Julian's room, Julian's still lying unconscious in bed. Meanwhile, at the Seabrook Motel in Janet and JJ's room, Janet and JJ are both lying in bed under the covers. By the way, and as Janet looked at JJ, how do you know Meredith? And if it's too complicated to explain, don't be daft. And as JJ looked at Meredith, I'll explain. In fact, and as he sat up, followed by her, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay. Meredith and I are married. Well, we was till she walked out on me for no reason for months now. Oh, I see now. Surely I hope that don't change on how I feel about you. Look, I'm not going anywhere. Besides, if she really loved you like she says she do, she'll be with you and not do a runner for the matter. Based on that, you deserve someone who's gonna love you unconditionally. And that person is me. Not to mention, she's with Daniel now. I'm telling you this because there's more to it. And once I tell you, you're gonna think differently. Meanwhile, at the Sherwood Ridge Manor in the bedroom, Sasha and Michael are slow dancing towards music. And as Sasha leaned on Michael's shoulder, dessert was amazing. And as she pulled back and looked at him while still dancing, you're proving that you can do almost anything. Truthfully, Sasha, meeting you at prom this year was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I really don't want to lose that. You won't. And as they slowly begin kissing each other, with Sasha quickly pulling back. What is it? Are you certain you want to do this? Because I think I know exactly where this is going. If you're ready. I know you've been patient with me for quite a while, but if you're ready to take this next step, I am. Make love to me, Michael. And as they continue to kiss each other, and as Michael began leading Sasha towards his bed, and as they arrived, just as Michael began taking off his shirt, followed by Sasha, just as Michael got Sasha on the bed, and as he began to make sweet love towards Sasha. And as they enjoy each other's company, soon Sasha turned Michael over and began making love to him. Meanwhile, at the Applegate apartment and Ethan's apartment in the living room, Nicole and Jan are talking. Dial it down with the threats already. I'm aware of what at stake here. Good to hear it. Why are you so eager to hook Ethan and I up when in turn you can have him to yourself? Unless... Really, Jan? I mean, come on. Do you really think I want your husband? You and Sheldon got a bond that lasts a long time, and I swear to you, he is no interest to me at all. Are you certain about that? And as Ethan came to where they are, what's going on? And as Jan and Nicole saw him, Nicole was trying to stop me from saying yes to you, which she ultimately failed in the end. Speaking of which, while you're still here, I think it's time Jan and I to be left alone. Fine. I have stuff to do anyways. Why don't I walk you to the door? Oh please, you're too kind. And as Jan led Nicole towards the door, and they arrived and turned and faced each other. I expect a full report on how you and him are doing. Goodbye, Nicole. And as Jan opened the door, and as Nicole went and left the flat with Jan closing the door, and as she turned and faced Ethan, you and I are alone at last. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Nicole is walking down it, heading towards the elevator. And as she arrived and pressed the lobby button and began waiting. Moments later, the elevator opened, and Nicole saw Rebecca there, who also saw Nicole. What do we have here? I could say the same thing myself. Why don't you and I catch up? Say now.